Muy buenas tardes, mi raza. Con ustedes aquí otra vez, la comadre B. And I am hoping that this week treats you guys amazing. Happy and blessed Monday. Today is October the 16th, 2023. And well, here I am, of course, bringing you guys another episode full of information. Yes. I know I've been doing a lot of remembering anniversaries, this and that. And this is another one, but this is one of the good ones and one of my favorites. If you guys know me personally, you know that I, myself, love Lucy. Lucille Ball, the I Love Lucy show. Quiero mandar mi saludo first of all to my mom. Hi, Mom. I hung out with her Friday really late, and we just went down memory lane and a bunch of, good and not so good memories, pero ahí está. Ya lo pasado, pasado. As you guys seen all weekend, we were super, super busy. We hit the Ontario Convention Center this weekend on Saturday. There was the Truck Super Show. That was really neat. I had mentioned before, this is my 5th year being invited. You either have to be an owner operator, an actual truck driver, or be in the truck industry. So I don't know, for whatever reason, once it hits like August till the end of the year, we are super busy. So we've always been very busy and haven't been able to make it. But it was really amazing. It was more like a showcase of every company here in the area, insurance, parts, even attorneys and stuff of that sort. So the girls had fun. They did trick or treat. They had their bags and they were going from booth to booth picking up pens and keychains and stickers, air fresheners. So if you guys need pens, let me know. I got about 100. We ended up doing church, and then we did the Pomona Art Walk at night. Ese también estaba really, really neat. Every month Pomona has an art walk, but this month was Halloween. They had a fun house. They had a costume contest for adults and kids. The best costume, I think, was the dancing nun. If you guys are on social media, I miran una monja. She goes to all the carnivals and the fairs over there in Mexico, and she starts dancing in the middle of this one ride that goes around. She actually made the whole ensemble. It was amazing. Here's a clip. Check it out. See, it was just cool. A lot of the sellers were giving out candy, that kind of stuff. So it was really a busy weekend, but I enjoyed every second of it. I got to work on another little project I've been doing, pero ese pa otro día y otro rollo. Right now, let's get to our topic because it's going to be a little bit longer than most. Like I said, I'm going to be talking about Lucy, the show, I Love Lucy. So it's kind of hard to divide the two, Lucille Ball as the actual person versus the I Love Lucy show, because it just, ran for so long, and it pretty much made them be the people they are today. Like, they are actual legends, the whole cast. So it was like really, really one of its kind. So like I said, let's get to it because there's just so much. Like, this episode I'm going to give you guys right now doesn't even give us half of the information that had to do with the whole show and the years that it ran. Pero vámonos recio.
A Ricky Ricardo production. Bum, ba, ba, bum, bum, bum.
This is Lucy Ricardo. I mean Lucille McGillicuddy.
We all know it as 623 East 68th Street, apartment number 3B. Yes, that was Lucy and Ricky's apartment back in New York. You had Ethel and Fred, they were their landlords. turns out this show first aired overall #1 time on October 15, 1951, which was 72 years ago yesterday. Isn't that amazing? Like, we still watch the reruns and laugh like it just taped yesterday. Like, I can't get over Lucy. Like, I will watch reruns. My kids watch reruns. I even got John watching. Like, we just love Lucy here. It's just wow, you know? So it was amazing to me to know this, that it was 72 years ago that this freaking show hit the main line on CBS, and it just became one of the most legendary TV wows of the world. That's all I have to say. Everybody in the world knows Lucy. Everybody. They know Lucille Ball. They know her red hair. They know the little heart. They know everything. Lucy, Lucy, Lucy. Alright guys, so I am going to actually read off notes today because there's just so much to tell you guys. I can't memorize it. Like, it's too much detailed information that I don't want to miss out. So here's my book. I am very sorry it looks tacky. Yes, I know. Pero it is what it is. So let's get to it. I Love Lucy was considered entertainment's longest continuous running show ever. I had seen an episode on Entertainment Tonight. It was on YouTube, I believe. And they're interviewing her and asking her, you know, this and that about the show. What did you like? What did you not? You know, how did Lucy come about? And it was a very, like, candid and personal one-on-one interview, which was absolutely cool. Because, you know, me as a wannabe journalist or whatever, you know, you want to know the person directly. And when they give you straight answers from the heart that are unscripted, that's when it's the best, you know? So they were asking her, like, okay, I Love Lucy was huge. What was Lucy to you? Okay, as you guys know, Lucy was actually really married to that character, Ricky, in real life, which is Desi Arnaz. And as you guys may know, era un cabrón. He had women, he liked to party, and he liked to be gone. According to the story behind the I Love Lucy show, she was the one that had been originally casted for this show, which was going to be only on the radio, which was called My Other Husband. At this point, they had already been married in real life, so she decided to throw the whole idea out there, like, okay, I will do this show, but have my husband do this show with me. So all the producers behind the original radio show were like, nah, like, it makes no sense. It'll be very controversial because you guys are interracial, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Well, Lucy said, if he doesn't do it with me, no dice chino, I ain't recording anything. They went through ideas, they went through the whole scenario of things, this and that. They had even told her, he's not the right match for you as a husband. Go figure, they were really married. Like, how, like, close-minded were people back in the 50s, right? Okay, so, yeah, after a lot of esto y lo otro, no eye to eye, seeing this and that, they decided to go ahead and give it a run. Okay, so now there was an issue. The I Love Lucy whole enterprise, they didn't have money. They were starting. CBS didn't have the money to do this monster production that was gonna actually hit. So they ended up getting a sponsor. Okay, now this is gonna give you guys a, oh, okay, because it did to me. Their sponsor was Philip Morris. I will get into him a little bit later, pero él era the big guy behind tobacco and cigarettes. So if you're already thinking, oh, no wonder that's why they were always smoking. Yes, that is why they were always smoking, because they were throwing out there the whole cigarro without you really knowing that they were throwing out the cigarro, right? Okay, well, anyways, Philip Morris and his whole company were like, okay, it sounds like a good idea, tráigame el contract, I will sign this. And he signed. Okay, so ya empezó the Lucy Show, the pilot, this and that. Okay, this Lucy Show ran, like I said, from October 15th, 1951, all the way to May 6th, 1957. They had 6 complete years, a total of 181 episodes, that is including the pilot and their Christmas specials. Once again, like I said, this was the show that was the wow of all the shows. Not to mention, it did the whole controversy, not only because they were an interracial marriage, but because Lucy was actually pregnant while she recorded the show. A lot of you guys might not know too much about her. Like I said, that's why I decided to do this little, let's talk about I Love Lucy. But she had 2 actual biological children, which little Ricky on the set was not the real son, but he was the same age as the real son. So during that episode where she's doing the Vita Vita measurement commercial, she's actually pregnant with her daughter, little Lucy. She's 6 months pregnant with that, and once again, the producers and this and that were really against her actually showing the state she was in. So they tried to do a lot of the covering up, y esto y lo otro, and they were successful at it because they're like, nobody really seen when she was actually really pregnant, so it didn't kill the ratings, this and that, blah blah blah. Now let me tell you guys, I don't know why these producers were so freaking nervous and scared, because the actual episode where she goes into the hospital when Fred and Ethel and Ricky are all training and trying to get it together, where they even leave her in the house and they take the phone in the little suitcase out the door, that one was by far the most watched episode of all time, of all TV shows ever. That day, I Love Lucy had 44 million watchers, guys. 44 million people were tuning in to see Lucy go to the hospital and have this baby. That is freaking wow. Again, like, I have no words to even say. It's just wow. Here they are thinking, ay, esta panzona, they're not going to want to watch the show. It's tabooed. We can't even say the word pregnant on TV. That's why you will never, ever catch, if you pay attention, them talk about being pregnant. They will say expecting, and they will say with child. Pero nunca van a decir pregnant. Because definitely, no, that was not tolerated at all. Okay, let me tell you guys a little bit about Lucille Ball as a person. She was nominated for 13 Primetime Emmys, which she won 5 of. So that's big, guys. She had other awards such as the Golden Globe Cecil DeMille Award. She has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. One of them is for motion pictures, because obviously she was an actress. And the second one was for Lucy, for television. That's it, like she ran the damn scene. Other honors include Woman in the Film Crystal Award, induction into the Hollywood Television Hall of Fame, and the Kennedy Center Honor Award, the Governor's Award from the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. So esta señora had a very hefty resume, guys. She was badass. On the interview that she had with Entertainment Tonight, again, she was asked, what made the success of I Love Lucy? Her answer was, it was the marriage I had with many things. Not only her marriage with Desi, but the marriage with the actual show, the marriage with her actual co-hosts, the marriage with her writers, her producers, and she said that a lot of people would relate to them in general, as in marriages, the domestic behind everything. Back then, the man worked, the woman stayed home, things of that sort. So people all over the world, like I said, just loved this show. They would tune in because this show aired every Monday night at 9 p.m. on CBS. The entire 6 years it ran through. They never changed it up. They never played it on another night. Maybe if you've catch a rerun or they were doing a special showing of I Love Lucy on the weekend. But every single Monday night at 9 p.m. CBS, it was I Love Lucy time. You would see the intro come on with the little song, I Venía Lucy. Every question they gave her was, how do you feel watching your reruns? And she says, I cry a lot. As you guys know, Vivian Vance and William Farley died earlier on. So, she said le daba sentimiento to watch her reruns because even though they all didn't get along at first when it started running, they became really close towards the end. So it really gets to her. She said that because they were really good people and they were no longer around. She also said that this whole I Love Lucy was just something to do. She said it was just a project for me. I was just trying to get something to make me and Ricky closer together because we were already in bad shape with our marriage. So I wanted to do this filming when they actually told me it's not going to be on radio anymore. We want to do actual film. She was delighted with it and thought about it like, okay, we'll run this about a year and see how it goes. And like that, at least I have something to show my kids, like home videos or something, So she thought it was a super cool project. That's why she was all for it. She didn't think it was going to blow up how it did. So she does mention how this show had no plan, no format. It was just the writers. It was just her. She was like delighted because so far it was keeping her and Ricky together as a family. So it was good. She said Desi did absolutely nothing in moderation. He worked hard. He drank a lot. He played hard. He was a viejero real hard. Everything was go big or go home for him. So she says that in the beginning that had a lot to do with the success of the show because estaban bien entrados él y ella to make this happen and make this a successful project and show. When they first started filming, like I mentioned, they had no money. This was an idea fetched to them as a separate option rather than doing the radio show. So they ended up renting an actual lot, like a little studio, and that's where they started to film the show. It was rented weekly. They didn't own anything. Like I said, they were barely starting to do the show. Lucy had more fame than Ricky at the time. That's why she at the same time wanted to kind of help him become a bigger known, artist in the field. So it kind of all worked out for them, for the good, This is what she was nominated for. The first one was in 1953, which was Best Comedy Situation. The second one, también in 1953, Best Comedian, and that went to Lucille Ball. The third nomination was in 1954, Best Comedy Situation otra vez. The fourth one was también 1954, Best Supporting Actress, and that of course went to Vivian Vance, which was Ethel. And the fifth one was in 1956, Best Actress of a Continuing Performance, and that went to Lucille Ball. So like I said, they were hot, they were cool, everybody knew who they were, everybody wanted to watch Lucy. What was she up to now, vieja loca, you know what I mean? So it was just one of those things that like are here to stay. Like I said, 72 years, that is, again, wow, like damn, you never hear that. One of her other most favorite quotes, because she was a very wise person. She went through a lot in her lifetime, married to Mr. Arnaz. So, when you're old and you live a lot, you know a lot. So she would always say, knowing what you cannot do is more important than knowing what you can do. Which is absolutely true. Por eso, you want to do something, my advice to you, tírenle. Vámonos recio. Who cares if it doesn't pan out? At least you tried. Like they say, better a uh-oh than a what if, Just do it. Okay, so now we go to stuff you may not have known about Lucy. Lucy developed arthritis at a very young age. She was in her teens, I believe 16 years old. She had very bad rheumatoid arthritis, so she was in pain literally all the time. While she was still filming, she was in pain. She would take medication here and there. But she would always say, you know what, pain or no pain, I gotta work. The show must go on. Recio, what are we gonna stop and cry for? You're gonna be in pain regardless, whether you're acting or not, right? Whether you're working or not, it's pain, pain, pain. Okay, now another one is her and Desi actually had 3 miscarriages before they had their 2 little children, which was little Lucy and Desi Jr. Okay, they were married by the law, by court, and blah blah blah. But Desi's mom was big time Catholic, and she would throw out there all the time, I'm sure you guys cannot have kids because you're not blessed by God and you're not married by church. So she kept pushing them to get married, and they eventually did, para que la señora se calmara. And Lucy mentioned, I don't know if that was maybe what made it happen, but we ended up conceiving our 2 children. Her miscarriages were 1942, 1949, and 1950, literally right before they were filming this Lucy show. Okay, so I'm going back to what I had mentioned at the beginning of the episode. Philip Morris was their sponsor. He's the one that would, give the money over to do all this magic behind the camera. And he was a big tobacco industry of that moment. His brands were Marlboro, L&M, Parliament, Chesterfield, and Virginia Slims. Those are just a few. There's a few more, but these are the ones I actually recognized. So yeah, they were sitting here advertising the cigarros, like I said, because you see somebody doing something, you're like, hey, I want a cigarro. Or you see somebody drink, like, hey, se me antoja una cerveza. You know what I mean? So the whole time they're smoking. It was required because they were actually sitting there advertising the whole cigarros. Okay, another little funny fact that you guys may not know. Okay, the whole beginning of Lucy with the heart, with the satin sheet and everything else, as you guys, that's what you remember being the intro. It wasn't always so. The first original intro was this one that I found on YouTube. Check it out.
Philip Morris, America's finest cigarette, presents the Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Show, I Love Lucy.
Isn't that crazy? Like, wow. So yeah, it ran through that way until they started doing reruns, and that's when the whole satin sheet and the heart and the cursive I Love Lucy came out. Once 1957 came around, which was the last year that they actually recorded, this I Love Lucy show was ranked number 1 on television. The show was considered to be husband/wife created, award-winning empire, as well as their production company that they started soon after they were recording, which is known as Desilu Productions. You're sitting here with all this fame and money's good and everybody knows who you are. You have a hotel that you build out here in Desert Springs. They had it all. Desi was always running around in the paper. She would find out, it was just not a good time for them in their marriage. And yeah, they decided to get their divorce. And they did. But they were still really good friends, which I personally see that through because, you have kids with somebody. You've been married with somebody so long. Why do you have to end it so bad? You know what I mean? You were friends before anything. You created life together, period. Why be enemies? I don't know. To me, it was just wonderful the way she says, we were so cool with each other. We didn't even require 2 attorneys when we got a divorce. We spoke about it with our attorney. He told us yes, no, maybe so. And that was it. We signed and it was done. When they filed for this divorce, 1957 was when, they were filing, they were done, they started living apart. Desi ended up buying a rancho out here in like the Moreno Valley area, and they just started living apart. Lucy kept the kids, this and that. So it was until 1961 where officially Desi Arnaz quit the Desilu production. He signed off his shares y quedó Lucy the only one sole proprietor in charge of the whole production company. I'll finish getting into that whole production and how she sold. But they had a total of 5 writers throughout all these 181 episodes. The operation brain behind the whole writing was Jess Oppenheimer. He was the brain behind the whole creation. There was 2 female writers as well on the group, and they were just the ones that kept the whole rotation of just getting this girl in trouble and all the fun stuff that comes with the show. She had her makeup artist by her side the entire time running. Este señor was an amazing artist at that time, makeup artist. His name was Hal King. Hal King was the director over at Max Factor. If you guys ever pay attention when it's ending the credits, you will see right there, makeup by Max Factor. Yes, Mr. Hal King used to personally do the whole cast makeup, and then became her personal makeup artist for a long time. Here's a picture I found of him doing Desi's makeup for the set. And then he also started using Lucy for like advertising on like lipsticks and makeups and stuff like that. Here's another picture I found. This one is of lipstick and Lucy. Super cool. Those 2 images, by the way, are from Pinterest. I don't own rights to them or whatever. I just wanted to share them with you guys because they are amazing. So oh my god, stuff that I mentioned earlier that nobody got along. So Fred Mertz, he was actually 22 years older than Ethel in real life. Obviously the show does show it, their age difference. They couldn't stand each other at all. They both had really strong personalities, so they would just continuously just clash. When William Farley, which is Fred, got casted for the role as Fred, in his contract it actually said that he had to stay sober. He was a known Hollywood alcoholic. Everybody, the actors, the whole industry knew he was un borracho. He drank heavily. So in his contract, in big bold letters, it said, you will stay sober during the rehearsals and recording, or you will be automatically terminated. It is also said that for a lot of the episodes, he was either a little bit drunk or he was hungover. And that's when you'll see him, he'll be patting himself because he's so sweaty. Yeah, he had an issue, pobrecito, may God have him in his glory now. But yeah, those habits really get you, and even though you're up there with, the Hollywood famed, a habit's still a habit, and he had it, and it was alcohol. So that a lot of the times also killed the whole dynamic with Vivian, because yeah, like he's drunk, he'd get like, real rude when he was hungover. So yeah, it was just whatever. Lucy and Vivian didn't get along either when they first started working together, because Lucy wanted to be the star. She was jealous of Vivian Vance. Vivian Vance was a huge name in theater. She was actually known as the leading lady in theater. So she had a lot of years behind her in the industry. So when they actually brought her as this character, Lucy actually wanted her to gain some weight, because in real life they were only 2 years apart. Vivian was only 2 years older than Lucy. So she wanted to make her look as her character was supposed to look, an older señora, this and this, this and that. So yeah, Lucy was just constantly, Vivian this, Vivian that. she just wanted to be the center of that show, the attention, everything else. So the entire time they were very competitive and they were feuding over everything the entire time. Till the last season, which was year 6, they became friends. They were supportive of each other. That's when Lucy had a lot of problems with Desi, so Vivian was actually there to be a crying shoulder, this and that. So unfortunately, they spent too many years not liking each other instead of working together and liking each other. Okay, so I looked up the top 5 rated episodes, and number 1 was Ethel's hometown, which she proudly always mentions that she's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I guess it's when Ethel May went back home. Number 2 is Lucy and Harpo, the clown, right here in Hollywood. Number 3 was Lucy and Superman. We all know that one. She wears a helmet and gets stuck outside the window. Number 4 is the freezer episode where they buy all that carne and they sneak in that freezer and the guys they weren't cool with it, and she like kicks the chair and gets stuck in there. Remember that one? Yes. And then number 5 is the Great Train Robbery, when they're coming here to San Bernardino. If you haven't seen that one, watch it. That's one of my top favorite too, when she pulls the emergency brake and the food gets all over Ethel and Fred, and Ricky's all pissed off at her, and oh my god, yeah, that is, yeah, I agree with that one. Top 5. Here's a couple of facts about Lucy también. Even though she had all the money, she was very, very down to earth and simple. Actually, she shifted her money elsewhere instead of ooh and ah. Her nail polish the entire show running and in real life period was always cherry red. She said that was what a feminine look was about, and it was always cherry red. So when you see her doing her polish, it's cherry red. She also made the hairdo, the poodle, a thing. As you can recall in the earlier seasons, she has it all poofy and in the middle. That was her favorite hairdo, and she made it become a thing. It was known as the poodle hairdo. Her cravings while pregnant on the show, I don't know if you guys had ever paid attention that she makes Ricky run to go get her sardines with ice cream. It actually was sardines, but it was with mashed potato and gravy. So that was her all-time biggest craving during pregnancy. Sardines with mashed potatoes and gravy. Another thing that was, like, I found kind of weird was that her perfume of choice wasn't even an actual perfume. It was more of a splash. It was the Florida water. Us Mexican Latino community know it as the brujeria water. It's this one. So yeah, it's kind of fun to know that, oh my god, that was her scent, signature scent of choice. It even says that towards her dying days, she was still like, where is my Florida water? Quería oler bonito la señora, pues. Florida water, splash, splash. Alright, so super cool. There is an actual museum with the whole set of the Ricardo's apartment. Of course, it's back in Jamestown. So if you want to check it out, you're going to have to travel back east. But it is a to the T reproduction of their set. Here's a picture. This is actually, I found it on Fox 11 News archive, so they own the picture. It ain't mine, again. And I'll get back to filming. So they used to film on 35 size film, which was really big at that time. Back east, New York, they had the technology to do like 3 cameras, this and that. They actually originally wanted the whole I Love Lucy cast to go to New York. Lucy refused. She said, no, I'm here in LA now. We're Hollywood people. Instead of going out there for their technology, bring that technology here. So, like I mentioned, they would do rehearsals and they were heavy hours, but they would only run their takes one time. They would not take to take 3 like all other shows. They will not. And you will sit here and you can catch actual bloopers if you pay attention. One of them that I know as a fact, I didn't read up on it, is when Ricky's telling little Ricky the story of Caperucita Roja, which is Little Red Riding Hood. If you pay attention, he's like going, thank you, and then he goes like, thank you, Big Bad Wolf, thank you, Hunter's Man. So he confuses the whole story real quick. And like I said, they wouldn't take 2, so as is was is, that's it, and they would just run it. That was it. So there was no room for mistakes, there was no room for accidents, there was no room for attitudes and being divas and run it again. No, one time, vámonos recio, that's it. They said that they would always record in front of a studio live audience, and the studio there used to sit 300 people. A lot of them were turistas that were coming around from different places, and a lot of them were people obviously here in the country, but they would come specifically to watch the filming of I Love Lucy. Now, every beginning of the film, Ricky would come out, introduce himself, introduce the cast, then they would all go back, and then they would all come out with the clapping and this and that. So it was really neat. He would make it very homey and welcoming to the whole studio audience that was watching. And they said too that Lucy's mom in real life, which was Dee Dee Ball, would actually come and watch a lot of these recordings. And if you pay attention as well, sorry that I keep saying pay attention, but it's like you catch these things without really knowing, but now that you might know, you're like, hey, yeah, it's true. You can hear a voice that often says, uh-oh, that is Dee Dee Ball, which is Lucy's mom. Like every mom rooting for their kids. Of course, se pone emocionada la señora and all into it, So, yeah, that voice that you hear go, uh-oh, is Lucy's real mother in real life. That is so cool. When the paychecks were coming in at first, they said that Ethel was only making $280 per week. Vivian Vance. Lucy and Desi were a combined wage of $4,000 a week. So it was 2 and 2, 2,000. And with William, it didn't say what his rate or earnings were for the week, so I'm not too sure what he was getting paid. But they did bump up Vivian Vance towards the end, towards the seasons 5 and 6. She was making $7,000 a week. So that's pretty much $7,000 an episode, because that's what they would air, an episode a week. That's pretty good and hefty, I guess, back in those days, right? So here I'm going to read a number. As of 2022, which was last year, reruns under I Love Lucy show still make $20 million a year. A year. $20 million. Like, I'm not playing. It's right here. Lucy sold the Desilu production back in 1968. And she sold it for the amount of $17 million. And that is the equivalent of $149 million in today's money. Today, 2023. So, yeah. She sold it to Paramount Pictures, Gulf Western, and CBS. So she, I don't know, cut it, or I don't know, but they were the ones that own it, who are the ones that own it now, Paramount Pictures. She did sell that completely off. She had already been divorced with Desi, so she decided to sell this whole Desilu, put it behind her, open up her own production company where she was the one and only, and she did, and that was Renmar Studios. That's what she ran for after. And it was really hard for her because she was the first woman to run an actual production company with name and all by herself as a sole proprietor. As sad as it is that when she ran Desilu, it was still only her because Desi was too busy doing everything else. Once she went off and ran up on herself, she had to actually work harder and prove herself to all the men in the industry that she can do it. So that was kind of unjust and unfair and everything else. But she did it. She made great things happen with it. It was, opened doorways for other women who get into the industry. As you guys know now, Hollywood's big with everybody, women and men alike. So, yeah, thank you, Lucy. We appreciate you. Lucy was not to play with, like I said. She was a perfectionist in her field. She wanted everything to be real, to look real, to be believable. She wanted her audience to love what they were watching and believe it at the same time. that episode Pioneer Women, where they make a bet with the guys that this and that, they can't use stuff of, technology of the moment. When her and Ethel baked that huge bread that just rolls out of the oven, she actually had that bread custom made by Los Angeles Bakery. It was actually real. Because she said, nah, I'm not going to get something fake. I want it real. I want it big. I want it hot and steamy. And I want it out of the oven. So they did as they were told. Yes, ma'am. And there's this big pedazo de pan. So what they did when the episode was done filming, all the cast, all the camera people, all the audience, everybody that was in that studio got a piece of this bread that was very good from what I read. And they even started handing out a little bit that they had left over to people that were outside walking the street. So she was noble at that. And yeah, it was just very fun to be part of the whole magic behind I Love Lucy, because there was a lot of love there. Even though there was a lot of friction and tension, what couples don't have that? And obviously when your work is your spouse and this and like you combine everything together, there is no division, so it comes with you, and that's where it was kind of frustrating to work with them because of that. But other than that, it was just a fun old time. Everything was great. They worked so much. Lucy kept pushing the writers, do more episodes. She wanted to keep all her people employed and busy. So yeah, Lucy was one heck of a woman. The last piece I have for you guys is the I Love Lucy theme song. It was written by two men, Harold Adamson and Elliot Daniel, and it was just an instrumental with lyrics. It was. But the only time you will ever hear it play on the actual show is when it was Lucy's birthday. Remember? She goes out and I'm the friend of the friendless and blah, blah, blah. And the whole time the Mertis and Ricky were planning a big party for her down at the Tropicana. That's the only time you will hear the actual lyrics to the I Love Lucy song. And of course, Desi sings them, and I love Lucy and she loves me. So yeah, beautiful show. I remember it being maybe 2-3 years old, my mom watching it every morning, doing makeup, drinking coffee, and that was it. It was Lucy time, yeah, there will never be anything like it. It was one and only. We appreciate it. I love Lucy. I know you guys love Lucy too. Y pues ahí está. One of the things that will go down in history forever and ever in ages to come, because it's 72 years since and it's still going strong, guys. Alright, well, that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you for spending your tarde with me. Like always, I appreciate it. Please stay safe, stay sane. I wish you guys a very blessed and productive week. Y pues keep an eye open. I will be posting everything. Thank you once again. Y ahí los miro. Bye.